Ah, yes. The second act. Leave it to me. Leave it all to me to rearrange. And you'll see it'll go fine.
Or enter into his house in spite of him.
Leave it to me, I tell you.
Don't let it be clear. At any rate, that is in spite of my wishes. All the good that's come of it. Doesn't matter. The more harm done us, the more immortals of him.
I understand, God heavens, I understand. I'm taking it into account.
I beg, sir, to let it be quite plain that the conscience said I did try in every way to pacify me, to dissuade me for spiting him. Do as she wants. Satisfy her because it is true. I enjoy it immensely, and anyhow, as you can see, the meeker she is, the more she tries to get at his heart, the more distant the aloof does he become.
Are we going to begin the second act or not?
I'm not going to talk any more now, but I must tell you this. You can't have the whole action take place in the garden. As
What?
you suggest, it isn't possible
What's pie?
because he is always shut up alone in his room. And then there's all the part of the 4 days looking boy there which take place indoors.
Maybe, on the other hand, you will understand we can't change scenes 3 or 4 times in one act.
They used to once.
Yes, when the public was up to the level of that child there.
It makes the illusion easier.
The illusion. For heaven's sake, please don't say illusion. Please don't use that word, which is particularly painful for us.
And why, if you please?
It's painful, cruel, really cruel, and you ought to understand that.
But why? What ought we to say then? The illusion, I tell you so, which we've got to play for the audience.
With their acting,
The illusion of a reality.
I understand, but you perhaps do not understand us. Forgive me. You see, here, for you and your actors, the thing is only, and rightly so, a kind of game.
Again, we're not children here. If you please, we are serious actors.
I don't deny it. What I mean is the game or play of your art, which has to give, as the gentleman says, a perfect illusion of reality.
Precisely.
Now, if you consider the fact that we, as we are, have no other reality outside of this illusion.
And what does that mean?
As I say, sir, that which is a game of art for you is our sole reality. But not only for us, you know. By the way, just to think it over. Well, can you tell me who you are?
What? Who am I? I am myself.
And if I were to tell you that that isn't true,
I should say you are mad.
you're quite right to laugh. Because we are all making make-believe here. And you can therefore object that it's only for a joke that the gentleman there, who naturally is himself, has to be me, who am, on the contrary, myself. This thing you see here, you see, I've caught you in a trap.
But we've all had this over once before. Do you want to begin again?
No, that wasn't my meaning. In fact, I should like to request you to abandon this game of art, which you are accustomed to play here with your actors, and to ask yourself, seriously, once again, who are you?
If this fellow here hasn't got a nerve, a man who calls himself a character comes and asks me who I am.
A character, sir, may always ask a man who he is, because a character has really a life of his own, marked with his special characteristics, for which reason he is always somebody, but a man, I'm not speaking of you now, may very well be nobody.
Yes, but you're asking these questions of me, the boss, the manager. Do you understand?
But only in order to know if you, as you really are now, see yourself as you once were, with all the illusions that were yours then, with all things, both inside and outside of you, as they seemed to you, and they were indeed for you. Well, sir, If you think of all those illusions that mean nothing to you now, of all those things which don't even seem to you to exist anymore, while once they were for you, don't you feel that? I won't say these words, but the very earth underneath your feet is sinking away from you. When you reflect that in the same way, this you, as you feel it today, all this present reality of yours is fated to seem a mere illusion for you tomorrow.
Well, well, where does all of this take us anyway?
Oh, nowhere. It's only to show you that if we have no other reality beyond the illusion, you too must not count over much on your own reality. As you feel it today, since like that of yesterday, it may prove an illusion for you tomorrow.
Ah, excellent. Then you'll be saying next that you, with this comedy of yours that you brought here to act, are truer and more real than I am.
But of course, without a doubt.
Ah, really?
Why, I thought you understand that from the beginning.
More real than I.
If your reality can change from one day to another, why
Everyone knows it can't change. It's always changing. The same as anyone else's.
not? No, sir, not ours. Look here, that is the very difference. Our reality doesn't change. It can't change. It can't be other than what it is because it is already fixed forever. It is terrible. Ours is in a mutable reality, which should make you shudder when you approach us. If you are really conscious of the fact that your reality is mere transitory and a fleeting illusion, taking this form today and that tomorrow, according to the conditions, according to your will, your sentiments, which in turn are controlled by an intellect that shows them to you today in one manner and tomorrow. Who knows how? Illusions of reality represented in the fatuous comedy of life that never ends nor can ever end. Because if tomorrow, if it were to end, then why? All would be finished.
Oh, for God's sake, will you at least finish with this philosophizing and let us try and shape this comedy which you yourself have brought me here? You argue and philosophize a bit too much, my dear sir. You know, you seem to be almost, um, let's say this. Ah, by the way, I think you introduced yourself to me as a, what shall we say, character created by an author who did not afterward care to make a drama of his own creations.
It is the simple truth.
Nonsense. Cut that out, please. None of us believes it because it isn't a thing, as you must recognize yourself, which one can believe seriously. If you want to know, it seems to me you are trying to imitate the man of a certain author whom I heartily detest, I warn you. Although I have unfortunately bound myself to quote on one of his works. As a matter of fact, I was just starting to rehearse it when you arrived. And if this is what you gained, out of the frying pan into the fire.
I don't know to what author you may be alluding, but believe me, I feel what I think, and I seem to be philosophizing only for those who do not think what they feel, because they blind themselves with their own sentiments. I know that for many people, this self blinding seems much more human, but the contrary is really true. For man never reasons so much and becomes so introspective as when he suffers, since he is anxious to get at the cause of his suffering, to learn who has produced them and whether it is just or unjust that he should have to bear them. On the other hand, when he is happy, he takes his happiness as it comes and doesn't analyze it, just as if happiness were his right. The animal suffers without reasoning about their suffering. But take the case of the man who suffers and begins to reason about it. Oh no, it can't be allowed. Let him suffer like the animal. And then, yet, he is human.
Look here, you're off again, philosophizing worse than ever.
Because I suffer, sir. I am not philosophizing. I'm crying aloud the reason of my suffering.
I should like to know if anyone has ever heard of a character who gets right out of his part and perorates and speechifies as you do. Have you ever heard of a case? I haven't.
You have never met such a case, sir, because authors, as a rule, hide the labor of their creation. When the characters are really alive before their author, the latter does nothing but follow them in their actions, in their words, in the situations which they suggest. And he has to will them the way they will themselves. For there's trouble if he doesn't. When a character is born, he acquires at once such an independence, even of his own author, that he can be imagined by everybody, even in many other situations where the author never dreamed of placing him. And so he acquires for himself a meaning which the author never thought of giving him.
Yes, yes, I know this.
What is then there to marvel at in us? Imagine such a misfortune for characters, as I have described to you, to be born of an author's fantasy and be denied life by him.
Exactly what it was, sir. Exactly that.
Not at all. Don't believe it for a minute. Listen to me. You'll be doing quite right to modify as you suggest. The excess both of these girls here who wants to do too much, and this young man who wants to do nothing at all.
No, nothing.